Okay, we'll see if anybody comes back. Let's see. To make sure it's actually muted. Hi, Scully. Hello. Sorry. Hey, how's it going? I apologize, guys. Hi, Veronica. Hello. So basically, I'm gonna try to tell the story coherently, all the way through. I'm okay. Yeah, it's okay. Don't make me cry. I don't want to. I don't want to. Uh, yeah. Okay. Oh, gotta be an adult at some point. Um, so, um, Alex came into the true crime thing. I forget. I think it was 2020, but he the prominent Discord at the time. I'm trying. Yeah. Um, was the knot on, in the Discord platform or whatever. And basically this was before arrest, so there were no teams. Yeah. And basically there was somebody deep down. I'm gonna have to mute this now too. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I can barely work technology when I'm not flustered. Okay, there we go. So, thanks, guys. Okay. So when he went into the knot, and he was, getting all these friends, meeting Matt Sullivan, all these people that had done good work on the case, for a long time. He ran into, and he's already said this a lot, but he ran into somebody named Dawn Toretti. And Dawn had come in on the case pretty early on. And I think she had started up a Facebook group, that was, sharing information and, sharing theories and stuff. And it was very, family friendly, like for the families of the victims, which of course is always a good thing. So, but Dawn had this Facebook group pretty much from the beginning. So this is me relaying the story. So I'm probably going to get some things incorrect, but overall, it's the overall sentiment that you guys probably need to come away with. So when he ran into Dawn, Dawn had him doing a bunch of kind of menial jobs of sleuthing out certain things. And I can't remember what they were, but she was trying to get a feel for if he was in fact law enforcement, if he was in fact, like, I don't really know what's the word, but if he was there to monitor them. And then also, there was the real possibility that they were testing him to see if he was there to, if he was like also involved in illicit activities that we believe this person is involved in. Okay. And this goes back to the foster care system too. CPS. A lot of these people had worked with them. I think I'll be able to get on camera now. Okay, there we go. So a lot of these people worked in like the foster care system with the Department of, Child Protection Services or whatever it's called there. And it was weird because, well, I'll have to go into that a little later, but all these people know each other. And, when Alex says uniparty, it's really because everybody knows each other. So hopefully, like, you guys, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'm going to try to, get to it. So he was kind of being groomed the entire time. He was being monitored and he was being groomed to kind of like with distraction techniques. There's a whole bunch of vocabulary I had to learn for this case, like gang stalking, you know, just there's a lot of vocabulary that I had to learn. Yeah, you're welcome, Scully. Thanks for being here. And always supporting, and I'm sorry you're getting trolled too. And sorry about my cat. He's gonna do what he wants to do. But so where were we? We're talking about the people that were kind of monitoring him. Somebody came in. So February 13th, 2023 was when Louise came in to that Discord. And she was there pretty much to keep an eye on him and then to also try to get information from him concerning, she was like very fixated on wanting to know what there was a special item that was involved in the Stevenson's murders. And if you guys don't know that case, basic rundown, it was 2011. It was an elderly couple based out of Kentucky, brutally murdered in their home in a manner similar to how the crime scene ended up looking with Abby and Libby. So there was some sort of item that the detective who was covering the Stevenson's case knew about. And that detective, his name is Coy Cox. He's going to come up a lot. So Louise came in really wanting to know what that item was. And Dawn had really wanted to know what that item was. And they thought Alex was like bluffing and, I don't really know exactly, but they thought he was withholding that information. So they brought in Louise, who was, young, good looking, and she kind of struck up a relationship with him over the internet and on Discord and stuff. And before he knew it, he was getting sextorted. Yeah. So, and sextortion is just simply like you're exchanging nude photographs. I mean, that's like the most basic, simple version of it. But anyway, so Louise was basically kind of doing the bidding of Dawn. Well, the more Alex started to put the pieces together of all the different people that he saw working with Dawn and doing different things, like, oh, I don't really know exactly, but he started to understand that there was like this whole undercurrent of people that were getting sextorted, that were getting who were being used to go in and, if it wasn't the sextortion, uh, which then they can hold over you, then it was, no, I'm not dropping the StreamYard link. I'm sorry. You're too far gone, dude. Hi, Mar. Hi. Um, there was an undercurrent of people that had infiltrated. Basically, by this time it's 2023. So, hey. Um, so basically, like, it was still on both sides, you know. Yeah, they do. Greenlee. They know this very well. Um, so so he's finding all those patterns, and these people are being very, suspicious, like, why are you, like, if he knew Dawn, you know pretty far back, or further back in time than in 2023, years before, why is Louise coming in and asking the same questions about that item? Why? No, you're not coming in, Alex. Sorry, you can't handle it. You can tell your own story someday. Yeah. I'm gonna tell your story for you. Alex has no chill. And then I can get it wrong and you can correct me. But so that happened. In the meantime, um, I guess, like, we would have to still go back to 2022 before Louise is even in the picture. And I don't trust you. I don't trust you to be that other Alex. So anyway, what had happened was Alex was still looking into the theory of a bunch of different, like, murders being connected to a single serial killer. In the process, he was researching the Stevensons pretty thoroughly, and he he struck up a good friendship with Coy Cox, who was the detective, working on the Stevensons, the murders that happened in Kentucky in 2011 with the elderly couple. And he was giving Coy Cox a bunch of information. He gave Coy Cox, this is on a Prof Live, but there was a man that had, like, commented on Bill and Peggy Stevenson's, I don't know if it was like an obituary page or what, but yeah, there's two Alexes there. um so the man that commented on this post or whatever, he said something like, I always thought I knew the person who did this to them, or something along those lines. So Alex tipped it in to Coy Cox. Well, Coy Cox, for whatever reason, called up Liggett the next day-ish, or within that week, and he told Liggett. And this was like September 7th of 2022. Yeah. And so that Denny Taylor tip that Alex had given Cox had sparked something within Cox that he needed to go to Liggett and tell Liggett about. And by the 21st, they're finding Richard Allen. So, yeah. And if you're not going to behave in the chat, I am going to kick you. I don't care if you have a fucking wrench, dude. I'm going to kick you. But, um, So basically, I hope you guys are following so far that, oh my God. Did Alex, yeah, you're in timeout, dude. Sorry. Um, anyway, I love how I have to, I apologize, Alex, when you were sober and, not going crazy. Um, I apologize that I am telling your story right now. But I hope you guys are following the fact that it was through Coy Cox in Kentucky, just south of the Indiana border. He was the one that had gone to Liggett, gotten word to Liggett. Because you're lost. Okay, that's fine. We're in 2022. We're in September of 2022, but before Alvin gets arrested. Um, and so somehow that tipped off Liggett enough, potentially, because we don't know for sure, but that and a contentious election coming up and a fruitless Wabash River search. And it was a perfect recipe for Liggett to get up off his ass and find somebody that was there the day the girls were murdered, was male, and could possibly fit the description of BG. Oh, and if we're factoring in the fact that there might be criminal activity, then RA was also not involved in criminal activity. So he was a perfect candidate because he was there. He could resemble BG if he needed to. And he wasn't involved in criminal activity. And something else, but I hope you guys know what I'm saying. So because Liggett was under pressure because of the election, it needed to stay within the family, right? Like if it went up, hi RC99, if it went to that different guy, and if he wasn't quite in on everything, although I think that guy would have been in on everything, but he was threatening to invite the FBI back. And then the Wabash River, which was at least $1 million search. Okay, I'm glad you follow, woman. Thank you. Like that didn't do anything, and they had already put in a lot of resources into Keegan Klein. So there was a lot of I wouldn't say wasted resources, because looking into Klein got like 40 some men arrested, people arrested. They were lower level, but so Richard Allen quickly became the best candidate, and that's why there was that contingency plan in February of 2020. Dawn had mentioned in her Facebook group something about Richard Allen, and then his name shows up in 4chan. Hi, Hard Candy. Hello. Wow. Yay. Good to see you. They could have took one look at KK. Yeah, he wasn't doing those trails. That's true. That's very fair. Because like why wouldn't you pin it on somebody that at least had a criminal record, right? Well, they chose a guy that didn't have any criminal record, and I'm just guessing that's because all people engaging in any criminal activity in that area would lead back to the bigger fish. I banned him. I don't know how to bring him back, Mar. Sorry. I don't know how to do that. I think I'd have to go to my YouTube settings. He can come back, but if he starts calling people chomo, um, fuck. I don't know how to do that, actually. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Permissions, maybe. No. I don't know how to do that. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, sorry guys. So so basically that's where we're at. We're at how Alex potentially got a tip that inspired Cox to reach out to Liggett, which put the fire under Liggett's ass to find a guy that they could pin it on. They're Patsy. Oh yeah, Alex is good, hard candy. He had a little bit too much to drink and he's angry. He's angry. Oh, you're back. Oh, okay. That's clever. I like if Alex wants to, yeah, if he wants to beat me at the technology game, he will do that pretty easily. So he's back. I think you're gonna have to be okay where you are. No, you're not going in on anybody. Nobody else. Okay. Um, it sounds like people already low key reported it anyway. I think that was the veiled threat from Paradox. So once they got the grants for the internet element of the case was done by another agency. Yeah. Yeah, everything's good. Alex just had a little too much to drink and he's angry because Alex has been very harassed like this entire time. The pretty much he's been groomed. Everybody here has been groomed, by the way. We're all compromised because um, there are YouTube creators. There are, Reddit moderators and stuff. People everywhere have infiltrated the case enough that like we've all been groomed to believe like a certain narrative and like a certain perspective. So basically, I just wanted to show you guys how Alex's work on the Stevenson's case out of Kentucky with Coy Cox potentially led to RA getting arrested because Liggett. All right. If you're gonna start doing this again, I'm gonna time you out again, dude. Mm. All right. Just try to behave yourself. I know. Like he's had it rough, okay? He has had it rough. Um, but the foster gang. Okay, that's where that is. Okay, thank you. Because so for those of you who don't know, Dawn Truddy is based out of Michigan, but she is friends with Becky Patty and the Webbers. And I don't know how they all know each other, but she was the one that started up the Facebook group after The girls died, like pretty much right after the girls died, I think she started up that Facebook group. And so, of course, she has a lot of connections for years and years and years. And basically, like, she had been like a part, I guess she had worked for the foster care system. It makes the, please don't fight it. It makes the ops happy. Okay. Yeah. She had been part of the foster care system. Well, she had used pictures of her younger daughter to catfish younger people. Okay, I'm glad it's making sense, Starlight. If it's not, please let me know. But so she had been like in the foster care system as a foster care person, not like, I don't know like what her childhood was like, is what I'm trying to say. Dawn Toretti out of Michigan, who did the Facebook group. And she had used pictures of her own young daughter. And by young, I think she was like a teenager. Screams, yeah, a wonderful individual. It was sad. And so she had used those pictures to catfish or, deceive people. And I'm not sure how Alex knows that. So that is alleged. If he ever decides to not drink a bunch of gin and then want to go live, he can maybe tell that story. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, he did have screenshots of that. He has the receipts. Mar knows. Mars probably seen more of the stuff than I have, because I'm like, I don't care. I want to be able to defend him and support him. But yeah, it's unbelievable, Starlight, because they've been there since the beginning. But, if we think about it too, the Patties, if this was a criminal thing, because I think it stemmed from Derek, not only being a meth distributor in the area, but then also being an informant, most likely. And Libby was punishment by proxy for something. And then Abby was along for it because she was just happened to be there. Whatever it is, I think the Patties were too afraid. I think there were still threats on their lives. I think they were afraid that another person in their family would get taken out, because there were so many overlapping elements. You have like the motorcycle clubs, who are actually like, probably better than the police in some aspects. Like, you have so many things, and like so many overlapping things. There's trafficking that was going on, obviously. Like, we look at Fouts. We know there was, you know, sex work and underage young women coming in and being moved around. And yeah, I see, but this is just the theory, Starlight, about Ellie framing him, but it's what we've managed to piece together. So, because it makes the most sense. And before I forget to, there was a time, I think it was before Alex came on the case, but there was a time when people had gone around, people like Dawn and other people who I can't remember, and I don't want to name if I get it wrong, but they had made like a list of all the people that looked like they were BG eligible in the area. And I call it the Delphi witch hunt because it's just easier for me that way. But if you guys remember Simon from West Yorkshire, he was telling CJ back in May that he had turned in RA to police because there was a female, somebody that he believed to be female on Reddit, doxing Richard Allen. And Simon was afraid that this woman doxing Richard Allen was going to, end up getting him hurt because it was a witch hunt. Alex. Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about? This is like really hard. My ADD medicine is long gone. No, I'm not adding you in because you won't be coherent to even tell your own story. No. What were we talking about? Okay, so the witch hunt. Okay, so the witch hunt also helped with the contingency plan down the line because it made it easier for someone like Shank, who was working with Liggett with, yeah, the dog guy from the UK. Yeah, he's awesome, Simon. This is your story to tell, though, Alex. Okay? No. So hopefully that makes sense. Because they had done the field work on the ground, going through, finding anybody that could look like BG. I know Alex too is sober. I don't know. I want to get this out before I forget. So because the witch hunt had been done and they had like a roster, or they had like a list of all the guys that could have looked like BG, plus they had somebody like Miss Shank, and I'm not saying that this is alleged, but she herself had worked for a long time in the foster care system. Okay, so you have a connection there. Okay. It was that easy to then find a tip. Okay, because yeah, I guess it's believable that you can go through and magically find a tip that puts somebody there that you overlooked. But it didn't ring true to a lot of us. So but so you had the infiltration, and then somebody, Dawn, putting out RA's name on the Facebook group, which then got his name got posted to 4chan and Wikipedia and somewhere else, I can't remember, in 2020. And I don't know what the motivation for that would be. All right. So hopefully you guys understand that. I guess if I have to go back through it chronologically, Alex joins the case in 2020. He doesn't find out about the 4chan 2020 stuff until years later, I guess. Then fast forward to September 2022. He finds that Denny Taylor comment, which inspires Cox to reach out to Liggett And because of several pressures on Leggett does the backup plan of we gotta find our Patsy, right? Um, yeah. Well, they needed a contingency plan because if that whole area is so overridden with all these competing criminal networks of shit, you know, because I mean, like that whole area was overridden with like, you know, pedo shit for lack of a better word. Like look at how many people got arrested just based off of Keegan Klein alone, right? Um, all that stuff overlaps. Like the problem with this case was that so many of us, like I came into it just being like, oh, I just want to look at the occult angle and give my 2 cents. No, it's like Jesus. Um, yeah. Oh, okay. The Instagram. Okay, that's what it was. The catfishing the Instagram. So, and woman is great. Yeah. So, so they needed a guy that wasn't connected to criminal underworld in any way, and he didn't even have like a driving ticket. Which video, Mar? Because like that's why the leaks likely had something to do with illicit dark web activity in which it featured photos, crime scene photos of the girls for like, for the gore aspect. Because like whatever, there's like gore shit that I didn't like. I guess it exists and it's stupid as fuck. But people are probably trying to make money off of, um, if not official crime scene photos, then crime scene photos taken by the people that found them, right? Snuff, yeah. And I don't know if it was like snuff where like there's video of the girls getting, you know, unalived, but there's definitely at least probably photos that should not be in existence, at least getting distributed. And that's where the leaks blew up in October of 2023 that got Allen's defense team kicked off. Okay. And that did feel like that was not a defense thing. I don't care how many times somebody tells you that it was a defense thing. If it was not deliberate, but they would never deliberately leak those things. Yeah. And they did. They did use every platform too, what Greenlee is saying. Yeah. And so there are a bunch of people, like, it's weird, but like, hopefully, yeah, the tripod. Well, so basically, I'm willing to take anybody's questions right now because I feel like I tried to tell the story chronologically. And then after Alan is arrested, like Cox won't admit to Alex that his tip did help get Alan arrested. And I think he was saying that and telling Alex, like, oh, your tip didn't, no, your tip didn't like contribute to that or anything because Cox was trying to keep him safe. And I'll always really appreciate Coy Cox for that. So, hi, Owl. So anyway, but eventually there is a press release that comes out. Louise joins Discord February 13th. She loves the 13th for some reason, but it's also, you know, the anniversary of their murders, of Abby and Libby's murders. She joins the Not Discord on February 13th, 2023. Like a week later, a press release comes out on new information on the Stevensons. And basically, Cox is just putting out kind of like a heads up. And the heads up is to Alex. There's a nod to Alex because when the tip that was tipped in, because word got out that there was a tip that was tipped in 2022 that helped lead to Alan's arrest, they said, oh no, that was after he was arrested in November. And Alex was like, well, if the tip that I tipped in helped lead to his arrest, that was in September. So that was before arrest. So I actually helped and contributed and led to his arrest. Well, Cox was protecting Alex, in my opinion. I don't know his true motivation, but then in February of 2023, the press release that has Cox talking on it, he says, oh no, yeah, no, we do know the man that tipped it in. He's not a suspect, but you know, it did help. He eventually conceded, and I don't remember if it was exactly in that press conference or if it's a little further down the line, but he conceded that the tip that Alex gave him from Denny Taylor about the Stevensons ultimately had helped lead to Alan's arrest. Okay. And Alex, of course, thinks he's been, pretty well groomed by a bunch of people who either really need Alan to be the guy or really want Alan to be the guy, or their whole reputation is based on Alan being the guy. So, like, he hangs out in that echo chamber of people being like, no, 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 Alan is the guy. So Alex is like, okay, well, Alan is the guy, and I helped, and I want to feel proud about that. Okay, well, as time goes on, he's realizing that, oh, he thinks it's just defense, the defense side that's infiltrated by bad actors like Dawn. No, 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 no. There's a lot of bad shit, and everybody knows each other. That's the thing. And I don't want to name names because like that could be dangerous for them, but it could also be dangerous for us. All right. Okay, well, so this is fair. So we don't know who exactly funds. Prof calls them the troll farm. They are much more sinister than trolls. Okay? Like, yeah, and Alex has proof about a bunch of shit. That murder sheets lied about the Robert Fortson stuff. Okay, but you don't need to call people that. Oh shit. I think I just banned. I don't know how to undo that. Okay. Shit. Let me see if I can add them again. User. Let me see. Damn it. I did fix it? Okay. Okay. Anyway, Please stop making bad comments so that I can't concentrate on all this shit. Okay, so there was a Gibbo account. Like, little Frankie came in, and he admitted that he was paid by Becky Patty, and I think Tara German to harass like people like Angela and Courtney. I'm not sure about Tobor, but the unraveling. Alex. Anyway, so okay, so about the time that trial starts, there's a new kid on the block. There's a falling out. Basically, what happened on Friday the 13th, September Friday the 13th of this year, was a falling out in Dan's Discord. Dan is Curious Contrarian. And it was basically like it wasn't like a gang stalking, but it was like an embarrassment campaign, and it was meant to have me, Alex, and Mar all question our friendships with each other. And is Gritty here? Hey, True Grit. Hello. Don't mind Alex. He's going off. But what were we talking about? Jesus Christ. Okay, we were talking about oh, okay. So Friday, September the 13th. Basically, like, I've talked about it before in some of my past lives. It's really not that big of a deal, but there was a lie that was told that was meant to pit me against Alex and Mar against, like, all of us against each other. And it was done in a public space. And it was really unnecessary, very uncalled for. And Dan had been acting weird too before, like, the month leading up to that. He had been really, really weird. So there was some weird shit happening. So basically, like, I left Dan's Discord. I can't remember what Alex and Mar did, but I think they left temporarily. And and then we did, okay, so then I can't remember if like a week passed or if it was just a couple of days, but I noticed like the gloves came off. So like everybody had been pretty cordial with each other for the most part. Like I could still go into Frosty and Mark's chats and like not get, bitched out and stuff before then. But then after that falling out, like Dan wasn't like, I guess he had protected us from like the fallout from Frosty and Mark and their people. And Louise had been working with Frosty and Mark. I don't really know. I don't think Frosty, but I think Mark. So God damn it, Alex. You need to stop, okay? So anyway, then like I did talk about how I was upset with Dan and Sleuth Intuition coming down on Fiend pretty hard. And this was like, I think this was like leading up to trial. And I did not appreciate the way they gaslit Fiend. And I talked about that in a live. But I realized like I hadn't talked about the person who really instigated the whole thing, who got in Dan's ear and basically had him lie to get all of us, me, Alex, and Mar, to like not be friends anymore. And it was strategic, you know. Everything in this has been strategic. So the person behind that, truly behind that, not just Dan, was Louise. Well, so Alex and I came on the next night after the live that I had done just on Dan. We did a live and we did it on Louise, and it wasn't meant to like harass her. It was meant to call out what we saw, because like if the community is being infiltrated by people who are willing to extort you, that's not a great thing to say. You need to stop saying that shit. If the community had been infiltrated by people that were actively good at sextorting other people, and then harassing them, like gang stalking and harassing them. Oh, and that was another thing. Peggy and Dan were gang stalking Mar in other people's chats. And they will project and say, oh, no, that was happening to them. No, it wasn't. Like, we have, yeah. And Walla, at the end of the day, like, we know Peggy O isn't Walla, but like, she's sus and just like all around not a nice person. So, Brad Weber's Electronics, I'm not tapping you in, man. You're not gonna be coherent enough. And you better not be driving. So anyway, so the gloves had come off because we had lost the protection of Dan. And it was Dan's dream to kind of like bring both sides together before trial and stuff. But he had an agenda too. And it was mostly Mark's agenda, I think. But, you know, I don't know. All of this is alleged and speculation, etc., etc. But right before trial goes to start, Gibbo comes to the scene, and I'd never heard of Gibbo. Gibbo was like doing a bunch of these hit pieces that, I mean, like, they weren't like bad, but then they did a hit piece on Alex that looked really bad. And it was Alex being very bad to Louise in text messages, but they also didn't have the full story. And when you're pushed to your limit, when you're ready to kill yourself, when you're ready to go to that level, to a point where your whole life is falling apart, like, yeah, you're gonna rage out on people, and that's not, yeah. So anyway, yeah, yeah. Well, Cox is still a good person. I don't care what you think, Alex. I know you know him better, but I think he tried to protect you. So anyway, the gloves came off, and I think that was another 13th. That it was like right before trial started, and they had also sent in other females to sextort Alex after Louise, and like it worked. And even while we were like, you know, we had been seeing each other, and he was he was engaging with these women and stuff, and he thought that was really going to hurt me, and it did. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, these people are bad people. They're doing this stuff to hurt people. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, they sent like a OnlyFans chick. Like, there's no competition. Like, I wasn't gonna win that one. But yeah, so I'm gonna skip some things because yeah, that's anyway. So moving into trial, it was getting spooky because the trial was very rigged, very, very rigged. Um, yeah, Mark lied about a ton of things. And then all he can say, "Oh, I just got bad information from my source." Um, leave. Okay. All right. You know what? You need to stop. Good job, hard candy. Well, yeah, whatever the case is, there's gonna need to be like some forgiveness, but after trial, like, the day of the verdict, Veterans Day, um, I was modding for a prof, and well, actually, you know what? So really, the mastermind behind all of this, who I never would have guessed, um, who basically, sided with Louise, who then like gave the screenshots to Gibbo to do hit pieces on Alex and make him look bad. Um, it was Laura. It was Laura. And like she played it perfectly, man. Um, Hi, Michael Myers. Hello. No, we're not calling people names though, okay? I can't get to all of your comments. God damn. Yeah, you're annoying too. This is annoying. This is not annoying. I mean, this is annoying. Okay. So, anyway, um Laura was the mastermind behind all of it. I mean, I can't prove to what level, but I mean, she talks to Holman. She talks with McClelland, with Doug Harder, with Becky Patty, with Tara German. Um, and yeah, I mean, she is ill, and you know, I don't think anybody should harass her ever, but she basically like she was a good friend of Alex, and she let Louise like come to her and be like, "Oh, Alex is being so abusive," when she knew that Louise had tormented him for like a year and a half. Who lost their upper lip? All right. Well, anyway, Well, Prof isn't perfect either, but none of us are perfect. So anyway, so yeah, I was modding for Prof, and this was the day of the verdict. It was stunning too. It was still just like, that's impossible. How did 12 people get to guilty? It had to have been a hung jury. And it's Dawn, Dawn Turedi, Turedi. I would leave her alone though, Michael Myers. Yeah. And Truth and Justice. Yeah, they're all friends of Dawn and stuff. It's insane. Okay, all these people know Dawn. It's weird. Um, but yeah, so the day of the verdict, I was modding for Prof, and um oh, my Discord pinged. It notified me that somebody had, I don't know what you call that, like when they added you, they at you. I'm gonna get my get back. What? Okay. Yeah. And it was Frosty being like, hey, Dark Tistica, by the way, fuck you. And then I was like, excuse me? Like, what the fuck is happening now? Because, like, why aren't you happy? Why aren't you out celebrating? Like, you got the guy that you really believe, or you say you really believe, killed 2 kids. Like, that's the thing, guys. We've been on this for almost 8 years, and we haven't had the opportunity to even, like, look at the facts of the case. Why? Because the facts of the case have been hidden this entire time. There's been a giant distraction campaign, Agents of Chaos campaign, an obfuscation campaign to make sure that it gets jumbled to shit so nobody can ever figure it out. I'm not going to tap you in. You're not going to be coherent, man. I'm sorry. You say you're going to be coherent, but you weren't last time. Oh, yeah, paradox. Yeah. So, yeah, if you guys need to know about Dawn, go back to the beginning. But so yeah, and then I put all the receipts out on my community post because it was like, now people need to see what the harassment is because they expect you to go away. When they swarm you, when they gang stalk you, all of that shit, when they do that, they expect you to get quiet and go away. Holman's Farm, yeah. Led by Laura. And Laura played it so well. Congratulations, Laura. That was really good. That was really, really good. But anyway, so yeah, I posted that because it was like people need to see how they operate, what they get up to, all the talking points that they use. Um, and Jinx was there and Peggy was there. But those guys are the low levels. Peggy's not in the same classification. Frost and Jinx are lower level people that look out for the patties. So yeah, Alex, you can't come up here because otherwise, like the other stream, I'm sure Paradox has already reported it. will get taken down because you can't handle yourself, dude. So it is all misdirected. Greenlee Lake, you called so much of that shit. So I don't know how to say it, and I don't know how to spell it, but Cohen's not lower level, no. But he's not as high up as Dawn. That's for sure. Whatever the case is, I don't know what's gonna get. I don't know if law enforcement is going to step in. I really hope that they do, because there's no way to even begin to get proper justice for 2 kids. It's more than just the Patty Starlight. I think they're just, they found a way to, I don't know if I want to call it benefit, but they've made money, but Alex, you need to stop, okay? You just need to stop. I'm gonna put you back in timeout. Oh my God. Is this just gonna be a stream where I delete all of your comments the entire time? Because I'll do that instead of getting out the actual message that you should be saying. Yeah, you should be telling this story, but you know what? Mister, I want to go live right now when we're supposed to not be going live, but I need to go live right now. Yeah. So, anyway, yeah. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, a banned words list. That's a good idea. Yeah. Okay. Bye, Alex. Yeah. So, if you guys have any questions, hopefully, if you go back and listen to the beginning, I try to walk you through it. There's a way better, more in-depth coverage on Prof's channel when he talks to Alex. Yeah, I have an orange kitty that's very talkative. But yeah, I'm hoping that there's some non-corrupt law enforcement somewhere, because somebody was very compromised. Probably at the crime scene, and then definitely behind the, Mullen. Mullen would be a great, allegedly, he would be great for destroying a lot of documentation. You were Googling old Delphi shit. I have no idea, because I didn't figure out how to work Reddit until 2020, but then didn't learn about Delphi Reddits until 2023. I don't know if they're the same killer, Fluffy. So first up, let me do this one. So yeah, infiltrated, probably. And Alex could tell you more about them, but I don't know. I don't know enough of the history of subreddits to do that. Let's see, where was the other one? Still quite confused. So there is likely overlap in the criminal organization. It could even be the same orchestrator, but yeah, that was like, so there was a creator named Raffi that had, Alex calls it hodgepodge theories of there being a possible hitman hired by some of these organizations that was inspired to try to recreate famous crime scenes. In particular, like Jack the Ripper, and then like there were some Manson elements and stuff. So hopefully Alex would be able to better explain that, Fluffy. Um, Alex, if you want to tell her, um, yeah, yeah. Thank you, Hard Candy. Yeah, yeah. And Alex, you are a good guy. You're a very good guy. He's undergone a lot. Um, I don't know how he's alive right now, but anyway, so I hope that kind of answers your question, Fluffy, because we don't know. We just have the context clues to get us to that point. And obviously, like, Cox knows more, but he came into Indiana and went to ISP for help several times. So, like, he has clues that is connecting him to certain things in Indiana, but for whatever reason, Indiana is not helping him out. So, how involved is Tobe? I don't know. I don't know because, like, to hear Greeno talk of it, Tobe was like involved in like a lover's triangle or something back when he was younger, and that guy ended up dead. But I don't know. I don't know how involved Tobe is, and that would be a good question for Prof. Um, Again, like, you come into the case thinking, I'm just going to learn about the potential POIs, like the persons of interest, and potential, suspicious leads of people and stuff. I don't expect to like come in and have to learn about the community going back all the way, like not even to just the murders, but like before the murders, and not just like the Delphi community of the geographical area, but like the actual online community and all the different platforms of the online community. So you don't expect to come in and have to like find that the whole thing has been infiltrated by a lot of bad actors, have to learn their motivations, because like they have the advantage. These people have the advantage because they've preyed upon us. Like they knew that they were going to get up to nefarious things and that we weren't going to suspect them, or by the time that we did, they would already be very far ahead of us. So they can cover their tracks, and they can come up with their alibis and their stories, and et cetera, et cetera. So um it is like, yeah, it's a hardcore cesspool. Yeah. But we're all compromised because we've all been exposed. I hope that helped, Fluffy. Yeah, I hope that helped. But we've all been, hi Lisa, hello, tentacles. Yeah, he was right. He was right about the tentacles. Yeah, and there is two of everything. Prof really has nailed it down. Like, he knows pretty much everything. He's tipped in pretty much everything. He has pretty much everybody that is willing to talking to him, giving him receipts. Um, he is the place to go to get the information that is accurate. And he gave Alex the platform and helped decipher some of the things that Alex was telling him with receipts. So he is definitely a good place to go, I would say, for sure. It is very deep, Starlight. Yeah, and Greenlee, this is so true. Greenlee, you've been right about like everything. The why is more than the who. Yeah. Because like this is the best we can do with pattern recognition, not having access to what law enforcement has access to. This is like as good as it gets. And like, Alex, Julie, and Turbo leading them to fog reveal and being like, hey, like fog reveal being like a different version of geofencing to like, hey, will you please look into this potentially so that you can get a better lay of who may have been around the area around the time. Yeah, and that's the thing too, Hard Candy. Like, hopefully someday, um, I should probably finish that other thing. Alex, Julie, and Turbo all suggested fog reveal. Ellie did not take them up on that, which is like Ellie has been given so many opportunities to like take people up on things and they haven't. And I get there is money issues, but like, if you have billboards up all over the country with the FBI, I'm sure you could be like, pretty please, will you get us this, But I will say, I hope Prof tells his story, Hard Candy, because there's a reason that they went as hard on him as they did, and it's because he was the most effective with the most information, put the most pieces together, and he wasn't like raving necessarily too. So, and they were told they had unlimited funds. Rafi said Greeno did it. Told me in the comments. Well, Greeno certainly, he has connections. Like Fouts groomed him, and he had his own, photography thing. And like the man that he had apprenticed with that was a photographer, I forget the name of it, but it was something shots. Like the name of the employer shots. So like, there's always that speculation that Anthony Shots was, potentially like framing Greeno or, something, but that Emily Ann account was interesting in the Eleanor 18. Alex helped with the Eleanor 18. The Emily Ann account of that Dropbox, like, it was interesting because there was an Emily Ann Sawyer who had dated Greeno, who ended up dead from an overdose, a hotshot. Allegedly a hotshot, I think. I'd have to go back. There's like so much stuff to remember, guys. But but also like Anthony goes back with Fouts, and I think he was groomed by Fouts. I think a lot of people have been groomed by people, Doesn't make it okay, but yeah. Yeah. And the fact that like, he was cutting in line the first night before the trial, and Ellie didn't like, he had that warrant out on his for an arrest, but like, and they didn't arrest him. Yeah, it's interesting. Um, but again, like, I can't prove any of that. I don't know any of that. I don't like when I talk to Greeno, he doesn't strike me as a killer, but like, would you know? And that's not even fair to like say that about him. So, yeah. Yeah. So, I hope that helps. I apologize. Like, it was very discombobulated. I'm not good at this kind of thing anyway. Um, yeah. I don't know. I think there are people in the town that are scared to talk. I would be scared to talk, especially if I knew I couldn't get out of there anytime soon. So I really feel for them. That's good, woman. I'm glad. Cause like yeah, you guys can always reach out to me in my email, the Enlight in the Dark email. Or just like I guess post a comment on my community thing and then maybe I'll see it. But like yeah, we're just kind of laying low until sentencing because the flare-ups are like they do this. It's a psychological trick where it's like they want to keep you on your toes so that like you don't have any time to rest and it just wears away on you of well we don't like we're not going to let you know when we strike next the quote unquote troll farm or whatever but and I would not go and harass them either. It's not worth the potential of you getting harassed back. Um, but also, it's just not good to harass people. Like, it's just not fun. It's not, I mean, not that I've harassed people, but I'm just saying, like, it's not fun for the person on the receiving end. Um, and now that their Libby's neighbor is dead, yeah, it is a cult of fear. So, and thank you for telling us about that woman. Someone who helped. No. Yeah, people are scared. I get it. I'm scared, and I'm out here on the West Coast, you know. Um, I don't think he did either, Mar. Um, and I get like Alex and Prof could be right that there's still like a way that he could potentially like be involved, but it would be very tertiary or like on the periphery of sorts. But I think he was a perfect candidate because they wanted it to be a lone wolf. Because if it led back to any person that could tie back to anything, then it had the potential to unravel something bigger. Yeah, they didn't prove a goddamn thing. Um, I am interested to know why the defense rested as quickly as they did. Why they didn't fight harder. I think, they did a good job. They did a good as good a job they could have, as in my opinion. I mean, I don't know because I do think they were threatened. I think they were threatened. I think the jury was compromised in some sort of way. Mhm. Yeah. So, and it's taken me like this amount of time to figure out um like what Alex was trying to say. Mhm. Yeah. But, he's lived it. So like it's hard to connect the dots, when you've lived it. Like my ADHD brain is like when I'm just even trying to tell you the story. Um, yeah, those transcripts, see what happened at the sidebars. Yeah, take people out who are speaking facts one at a time. Yeah, yeah, yep. And they did a good job, Greenlee. They did a good job. I am most impressed and disappointed by Laura. Um, she played like a victim very well, and I don't think I don't think people were kind to her either. The things that were done against her, I think were, you know, that's just nobody should be harassing anybody ever. Like, there's no justification for it. But you also don't have the police on your side. So, and it was rigged, and it's like, yeah, the we don't have the police to go to. We didn't have anybody to go to help us. Like, how many times did Alex tip in stuff to Holman that nobody, um, you know, nobody was held accountable for? So, yeah, I do think yeah, Starlight. I do think they were threatened, but I think a lot of people feel like they were threatened because it was so abrupt. I think probably it was probably a threat to Kathy or the daughter. Because if Kathy needed to testify to be like, oh yeah, then Richard came home, but he wasn't covered in blood. I didn't do any laundry for, like if she was going to testify and then she couldn't, or she didn't, or they just rested early. But it scares me because the FBI with Abbott and Abbott being friends with Doug Carter, that scares me because of Nasser and what Nasser was allowed to get away with the USA Olympic team of kids. Those people are like, those kids are not even adults yet, some of them. Oh, yeah, they got to me emotionally, Greenlee, for sure, yeah. But I'm just saying that, like, if the FBI is compromised, yeah, it's just depressing because, like, it's not gonna end. Yeah, it's not gonna end, and then like the trolls, these professional harassers, there's like they're not going away, you know. So, yeah, it was a crook. But like if you can do that to our own gymnasts who win gold medals for us, and they're young women. Some of them are still kids, but if you could do that to our elite athletes of our country and not be held accountable for it. I mean, okay, Nasser went away, but did you see a lot of other people that covered for him go away? Like, I think Abbott got to resign, and he was like trying to make a deal with the Olympic Committee to get on it and have that as a plushy like retirement job, but I don't think he ended up getting that job, but like I also he like didn't he wasn't fired or like his pension wasn't taken away. Like Sandusky, thank you, Mar. Yeah, it's just insane. Um, It's really fucked up that we don't give a shit about kids. Yeah, I agree. I agree, woman. And the FBI is compromised. I didn't see the cyber stalking the FBI agent had orchestrated. No. But, and I know for every bad cop, there's probably 10 good cops. But, like, if you aren't up high enough in the pecking order, are you really going to risk your own life, your livelihood, the lives of the people you work with to, like, stand up when you see an injustice? It better be like if you're gonna like lose your life and lose the benefits that will go to your family, the injustice better be big, right? Yeah, yeah. I'm not, and I'm not trying to make it like impossible. Like I want you guys to feel like hopefully like the story, it didn't solve anything or whatever, but hopefully it makes enough sense to know that like you're not crazy, that we didn't get any closer to the truth. And that wasn't anybody's fault but the people who didn't want us to get closer to the truth. And that it was not, it wasn't for a lack of trying, right? Um, and they'll still be there. They'll still be lurking. Um, but at least we know more of their tricks now. The gaslighting, the lying, the all this stuff of like you're projecting what you're doing to me. It's no, we're not chaos agents, right? Yeah, if the government cared, we would have. Yeah, 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 a load of losses. Yeah, that's what it is. RC99. It's like every time we turn around, it's a gut punch, and then you turn around again, and it's a gut punch, and you and it's just like, wow. Because, like, for me, I was like, thank God there's going to be a jury that's completely outside of this that's going to have a look in and they're going to be like, wow, yeah, this is really fucked up. This is like it's at least going to be a mistrial, right? Like 12 people can't get to like, yeah, no, he's completely guilty. I have no reasonable doubt. Like he is completely guilty. Yeah, that I don't know how that happens. So, mhm. Serving life for no violent charges. Yeah, the priorities are wrong. But all they have to do is pin it on the little guy, on a guy that, like, but like there's so many criminals in that area. Why did it have to be the one guy that didn't have, like, a parking violation? But again, like, it kind of makes sense. So, yeah, yep. But I hope, seems like the higher up people in the government, they try to do the right thing. They get beaten down. Yeah, yeah. Literally the little guy. Yes. Literally, they're like, let's find the actual proverbial little guy and let's put it on him. Yeah. The girls never had a fucking chance. I think that's really what destroys me so much about this case, though, is just like, I don't know. I see myself in them, but I had a really good childhood, yeah, in comparison. I mean, I don't know what their childhoods were like, but I mean, I didn't grow up in the middle of like meth country, you know? Um, And I mean, like, I guess if you legalize the drug trade, you could get rid of some of that. But yeah, I don't know because I don't really know what all went down in that household either. But if this is justice for two kids, and never mind Flora, Flora is gonna be unsolved forever, and so will Delphi. What am I saying? So I hope that helps, guys. Yeah, like, sorry, it wasn't really like Alex would have given you more details so that it was more convincing, and he would have had the receipts, but he's kind of too smart for his own good, even though he gets ramped up pretty easily. So yeah, I apologize for that, especially if you called anybody names. I'm really sorry about that. Like, some of the people are probably from Chomoverse. And yeah. But just know there's a bunch of bad actors. Yeah. This place we live in is bad. Yes. Yep. Okay, guys. Well, with that being said, try to spread the good word of just telling people you're not crazy. That's actually happening to you. Yeah. Um, yeah, the Evansdale girls too. And that was another case where some of the family members were involved in drugs. So I guess the game plan is for a lot of them, like Murder Sheet, Ruckus. A lot of people are potentially going to move over to Evansdale. So it is kind of interesting to follow them and see where they go because honestly, like, well, if Alex wasn't so smart and good at pattern recognition, and if he hadn't gotten so fucked with, we still might not have known that the whole thing was infiltrated. Um, I mean, silver lining? I don't know. It's not a silver lining in my book. I would rather, but he survived and he got it out coherently enough that that was the shit. That was the shit that went down. That was what happened, and that they were behind it. And I guess it just takes that amount of harassment. Take jujitsu. I laugh, you agree. Throw my back out. I like the next time you see me, I'll be hobbling in. That seems like a bad idea for me, but yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, I go to get up and I'm like, oh my god. So I don't know when I'll see you guys next, cause like, yeah, Alex always has like bigger and better things to do. I don't feel comfortable coming on by myself necessarily. But tonight it was necessary because that was a bit much. Um, he is his own king when he gets fired up. So yeah, no, there's an occult rejects podcast. What was that about? Thank you, woman. I tried. And like I said, the contingency plan with RA and the witch hunt in Delphi and all of that, that's just speculation. That's the best I could come up with. Alex probably could come up with something better. Prof too, but I mean, that's the best my mind could get to. But I'm not cut out for this either. Like, I just wanted to look at the symbolism, guys. I just wanted to be the weirdo kid that got to, like, explore the occult aspects, but no, had to go down this way. So, I'll check it out. Oh, thank you, True Grit. I'm glad you were here. Thank you. Oh, well, I love you, Greenly. And wheelchairs are cool. It was deep. Chaos magic. Yeah. Yeah, that was another thing I wanted to like actually do something on, but Alex was like, no, we have to be quiet because, it's like, I gotta get other shit done and go here and do this and blah, blah, blah. And I can't protect you, blah, blah, blah. But I did want to talk about how like people are always saying, oh, this is like a bastardized version of whatever. And it's like, we don't know. Like pagan practice. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Fluffy. Thank you, Starlight. Um, pagan practice is, like you can follow something formulaic, but like any sort of magical practice, unless you're like in a coven or you're practicing ceremonial magic with other, initiated members, it's gonna be very specific to the person practicing it. I'll never stop. Yeah, I'm always questioning things, grandly. I've got so many questions. And yeah, like I think I've learned that lesson going into something thinking that you're gonna get answers. It's like, no, you're gonna come away with so many more questions. I love you, Mara. I love you too. But like, it's like I didn't get one single answer from this whole thing, guys. I just have way more questions. Yeah. Yeah, woman. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think I think like everybody develop like you're supposed to kind of develop your own practice and take in like things that you learn, if not from your own like relatives or ancestors, then like from that part of the world where you came from or where your heritage or whatever, or things that just resonate with you. It's supposed to be highly personalized, so like i just I just wanted to like enlighten people on that too, that it's not just like it doesn't have to just be, oh, this can't be this because it's not in this book. It's not the way it works. We got so used to the formulaicness of organized religion that we totally forgot that like it's cool to like be mystical and have your own mystical practice that is only understood by you because you're the only person who needs to understand it. So um I love you, friendly. Yeah. You're all smart, you're all wonderful. Yeah, True Grit Crime is right. It's exactly that. It's this magical thinking. Like, it doesn't have to be set in stone ever, you know? And so, like, the hodgepodge with what Rafi is saying, yeah, but it's like, it's a deliberate hodgepodge because it's things that resonates with that person. If this is in fact like, and this could be somebody trying to make it look magical because they are magic practitioners themselves. But it could also just be like, that could be their hodgepodge of things that resonated with them. So yeah, everything is convoluted. And the way that, like, Alex has really taught me that pattern recognition is a thing. Um, and I mean, like, don't trust anybody on the internet also, for sure, for sure. But also, like, you can get to some best guesses, very educated, well-informed guesses by really observing things and really digging into things in ways that wouldn't necessarily be conventional either. Like, I can't tell you how many things. Hi, Linda Kay. Aw, that's so nice. Thank you. Their own interpretations from multiple practices. I believe so too. True grit, for sure. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Really right. Yeah, magical thinking on meth is going to be out there. That's for sure. Um. Yeah. Yep. But sorry guys, I'm so tired now. Uh. Again, I apologize for um the chaos, but you know, um, yeah, it has to be more than one individual. Yeah. Yeah, I had a horrible nightmare um, while trial was going on about hearing them, the screams and stuff. And I was like, they were like down in a depression, and it was light outside. It was like middle of the day, late afternoon, maybe. And I was like standing high above them, like looking down, watching. And then all of a sudden I was in Abby's point of view, but I couldn't see Libby. And then all of a sudden I was back up on the higher ground again, looking down. And all these dark shadows, like they like moved and became the trees, but they were all like moving in on them, but from the higher ground, they were like looking down on them. It was just really horrific. It felt like, I don't know. It almost felt like the point of view or perspective of like somebody in a group like preying upon them. But like the mind does so many stupid things just trying to understand it. And it's not meant to be understood to us. We're normal people. Relatively normal, I should say. I should caveat that. Um, mm-hmm. Hmm. No, you're okay, Starlight. Everybody's been subjected to it. Yeah. But yeah, we've all been groomed. We're all compromised because a lot of people have influenced us that we did not expect them to be influencing us. Um, there's so many aspects of this case. Like, it is, there's white supremacy interwoven everywhere with drugs, with trafficking. Yeah. Yep. Mm. Yeah, DB is amazing. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I hope it wasn't a psychic experience because yeah, yeah. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you for sticking with me and listening to me. And thank you for not judging Alex too harshly. Yeah, a lot of people. So the sucky thing is that there were very few people he could trust. So, and honestly, I do think that a lot of people that seem like bad actors too were groomed, were equally groomed too. So, um, you know, it's going to be so hard to know. It's going to be so hard to, you know, separate who was like the groomed versus the groomer. Yeah, I think I need sleep now. Yeah, I think I need to go to sleep. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry. I love you all. Where are the good guys? I don't know. I think they're all here, but it's not a conspiracy. It's pretty easy, in fact, to see. Yeah, you go through it and you're like, yep, I'm not crazy. This is happening. So the dream sucks. Yeah, the dream sucks. Your frenemies. Spiritual war out here. Yes, it is. Everybody guard yourself. Thank you. Thank you for, thank you all for supporting Alex too. Alex is a pet. Yeah. Dude, if Alex was a Fed, that would have been so much better, dude. Oh, that would have been better. This is exhausting. So I love you all. Please take care. Please take care of yourselves. Um, you know, I'll try to be around. I don't know what I can do, but keep fighting the good fight. Um, Stick up for yourself when you can. Don't let the bastards get you down. Yeah, don't let the fucking bastards get you down. Take them down, bastards. So, I love you guys. I'll talk to you all later. Yeah, have a good night or morning. I don't know. Wherever you are, I love you and have a good time in your time. So, I'll see you all later, hopefully. Okay, bye.